My parents kicked me out for not following their rules. Now they're begging to move in when I was 19. My parents kicked me out. My dad's words still echo. If you can't follow our rules, then you can make your own somewhere else. I stood on the porch with my duffel bag, fighting back tears, not knowing where to go or how to start that night. I made myself a promise. If I ever made it on my own, I'd never let them treat me like that again. I grew up under strict control. My mom dictated everything. My clothes, my friends, my choices. While my dad called it discipline, they had my life planned. Accounting school, a steady job, and a safe future, but I didn't want safety. I wanted creativity. My dream was to become a designer, something they called a waste of time. When I got accepted into an art school, they were furious. My mom accused me of throwing away my future. And my dad's disappointment said everything words couldn't. The tension grew until one night my mom snapped. After another argument about responsibility, she told me to pack my things and go live in the real world. My dad stood silent. That silence hurt more than anything. I left home with no money and no direction, crashing on a friend's couch, working endless shifts at a coffee shop, and sketching designs late into the night. It was exhausting, but it taught me resilience. Every cup of coffee I served and every dollar I saved became part of the silent vow to prove them wrong. 6 years later, I had done just that. I owned a small interior design studio, had a loyal client base, and even got featured online a few times. My apartment, bright, warm, filled with art, symbolized everything I'd built from nothing. My parents and I barely spoke. Whenever we did, conversations felt stiff and awkward, as if they couldn't fully accept that I'd succeeded without their rules. Then came the call. My mom's voice was different, softer, trembling. "Honey, can we come by to talk?" she asked. I hesitated, but agreed. When they arrived, I almost didn't recognize them. My dad's hair had turned gray, and my mom's once confident posture had wilted. They sat on my couch like strangers, scanning my apartment, trying to process the life I'd built. Finally, my mom broke the silence. "Your father and I, we lost the house," she said. My dad's company had downsized, their savings were gone, and they couldn't afford rent. Then came the question I never imagined hearing. Could we stay here, just until we get back on our feet? I was stunned. The same parents who once told me I wasn't welcome under their roof now wanted shelter under mine. Part of me wanted to say no, to remind them of that night I stood on the porch alone, but another part of me, the one shaped by those years of struggle, stayed quiet. I told them I'd think about it over the next few days. I replayed everything. The pain, the rejection, but also the love that once existed. People, I realized, make cruel decisions out of fear, not always out of hate. Still, forgiveness didn't come easily. After a week, I invited them back. When they sat down, anxious and uncertain, I said, "You can stay, but there are a few rules." The irony made us all pause. My mom blinked. "Rules?" My dad leaned forward. I nodded. "My house, my rules, no judging, no controlling, no telling me how to live. You're welcome here, but this is my space." The air was heavy. Then my dad nodded slowly. "Fair enough," he said. My mom's eyes welled up. That night, they moved in with 2 small suitcases and humbled hearts. It wasn't easy at first. Old habits crept in. My mom tried to rearrange my kitchen one morning, and I had to gently remind her, "Remember, my house, my way." She smiled awkwardly and backed off. Over time, something shifted. They started to see me differently, not as the stubborn teenager who disobeyed them, but as someone who built a life from the ground up. One afternoon, I caught my dad looking over a design layout on my table. He ran his hand across the sketches and said quietly, "You've really built something amazing." It was the first time he had ever acknowledged my work with genuine pride. A few weeks later, while helping me water my plants, my mom murmured, "We should have never kicked you out." I didn't respond. I didn't need to. Sometimes silence speaks louder than forgiveness. Now, every morning, I see them sitting by the window, sipping tea, surrounded by the home they once doubted I could make for myself. They don't call my passion a waste anymore. They tell their friends how proud they are, how I made something of myself. And though I remember that cold night when I left home with nothing but a duffel bag and determination, I don't feel anger anymore. I feel peace. Because standing here, in the home I built, living by the rules I set, I see how everything came full circle. They once told me to leave because I couldn't follow their rules. Now they live under mine, and the best part? I didn't need revenge or payback. Life handled that for me, and brought them back just so I could see how far I'd come.